بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Last time we were doing the Surah al-Kahf, the three trips between Musa when Musa alayhi salam went with al-Khidr. And we got to ayah number 75. قال ألم أقل لك إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. And that was when Musa alayhi salam asked him, why did you kill that child? So the first time in the first trip, he made a crack in the ship. The first trip, he killed the child. Ayah number 76 is very important, and I think many of the translations of the tafseer do not give the right meaning. And Allahu A'lam. Here Musa alayhi salam says, إن سألتك عن شيء بعدها فلا تصاحبني قد بلغت من لدني عذرا. The literal translation, if I was to ask you about anything after this, then do not accompany me. And this is the last time I'm going to give you an excuse. Now, in the tafsir, they will tell you Musa alayhi salam, because he was not able to be patient according to the agreement they had. If you remember, when Musa alayhi salam told al-Khidr, I'm going to be your follower, al-Khidr had one condition. Do not ask me about anything I do until I tell you why I did what I did. And that was the agreement. But Musa alayhi salam could not just watch what was happening and remain quiet. And we said this is the behavior of the prophets, the attitude of every prophet. Prophets cannot watch something wrong is happening in front of them and remain quiet. That's all the prophets. An example will be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If the companions want to see if he agrees on something or not without asking him directly, they will do it in front of him. So if they want to ask him, is this right, without asking him directly, they will do that action in front of him. If he remains quiet, that means it's okay, it's good. Because they know for sure if it was not right, he will speak up. He will say, this is not right. Like, for example, he was sitting in the masjid, and then one of them came in front of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, Abu Bakr is the best of people after the prophets. So they wanted to know, is this a true statement or not? Is really Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, is he really the best of people after the prophets? And they looked at the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't say anything, which means he agrees. And then they said Umar is in the second place. And the Prophet ﷺ did not say anything. So any prophet, and this is cannot be used against Musa alayhi salam. And like I said before, somebody says Musa was impatient. Musa alayhi salam could not go with the Khidr and remains quiet. All that is not true. As a prophet, you cannot ignore what's happening and act as if everything is okay, even if he promised. So the Mufassirin say the meaning of this ayah is that Musa alayhi salam apologizing for being unable to fulfill his side of the promise and asking for another chance and being embarrassed of himself. Yani, why was I not patient? So that's what the Mufassirin normally say about this ayah. That Musa alayhi salam is apologizing and promising, just give me one more chance and I will not ask you. Basically, that's what they say. The way I look at it is a little different, and Allahu A'lam. The ayah actually says, إِن سَأَلْتُكَ عَنْ شَيْءٍ بَعْدَهَا فَلَا تُصَاحِبْنِي. If I was to ask you about anything after this, then do not accompany me. Now, first of all, who is the follower? Who's the student? Musa. And Khidr is the teacher. How do you say do not accompany me? You should say do not let me accompany you. When you say don't accompany me, that sounds like he's the leader. Right? When you say do not, la tusahibni, do not accompany me. So that implies that Musa was a little angry. Do not accompany me. He went back that I am a prophet, I'm a messenger, I am higher rank than you. Why? Because he saw these two things and he did not get an explanation. He made a crack in the ship. He didn't tell him why. He killed the child. He didn't tell him why. So Musa alayhi salam could be angry at this point. Instead of saying, do not let me follow you, he said, do not accompany me. I don't want you to be with me, basically. Another thing is, did al-Khidr say anywhere to Musa alayhi salam, you have only 3 chances? Never. He never told Musa alayhi salam, you have 3 or 4 or 10 chances. He never said that. The one who said, just give me one more chance, was Musa. Musa alayhi salam is the one who made it 3 chances, but al-Khidr never said anything about having only 3 chances. So Musa is the one who made that condition. Now, then, why is Musa alayhi salam saying this? I don't want to go with you if I was going to ask, which means this is not working. I'm wasting my time and your time. If every time you do something, I'm going to have to stop you and ask you, then we're wasting our time. This is not working. I'm just going to go my separate way and you go your separate way. So that was the statement of Musa alayhi salam. It was not a form of apology. It was stating a fact that this is not working. Even if I see you doing 10 things, not only 3, it's not going to change anything. There is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, by the way. He says, I wish if Musa alayhi salam was more patient, we would have learned a lot. Because only 3 trips, and Musa made that decision. If Musa alayhi salam remained patient, maybe he would have gone with al-Khidr in more than 3 trips. So this is an important ayat to understand that sometimes in your journey of seeking knowledge, you can find that things are not working. You can try again, like Musa alayhi salam, a second time and a third time, but then you need to know that I need to make a change in this journey. Maybe you joined the wrong class. Maybe you should come to Brother Eiad's class instead. Maybe that's what you should do.
That's a good one.
Yeah, if you see yourself in a journey of knowledge, any kind of journey, and things are not working, and you keep trying and it's not working, maybe you need to make a change. Right. إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا وكيف تصبر على ما لم تحط به خبرا. How can you be patient and you have no knowledge? So he said, I will be, inshallah, sabiran. Musa alayhi salam thought it's going to be easy. He didn't think it's going to be a big deal. Making a crack in a ship is a big deal. And even the worst thing to do is to kill an innocent child. So Musa did not expect things to be that difficult. So when he saw things are difficult, he knew that what's going to happen is going to be on the same level of difficulty. So he knew it's not going to work.
To him,
I can promise you that I'm not going to ask you again, and then you will do something, and then I will ask you. Because that's going to happen again now in the 3rd trip. So Musa alayhi salam understood that this is a waste of time, your time and my time. Even if I promise you, I'm going to ask you when you do something that I cannot tolerate. So this is what's happening. So Musa alayhi salam, and this is again what we said, the lesson we take from this is that when you are seeking knowledge and you find that things are not going well, I'm not saying you give up. Like here, Musa alayhi salam gave it 3 tries. Didn't work, seek something else. Or maybe you need to make a change. So this is what Musa alayhi salam is telling us. So my point I'm trying to pass here, it was not al-Khidr who told him you can't come with me anymore. فراق بيني وبينك. We did not get there yet. There is still one more trip.
Because to him at this time, he still thinks that it's evil. Killing a child.
Of course. Musa, Musa alayhi salam does not know why.
Yeah.
And Khidr said, I'm going to tell you later, but he couldn't wait. And again, we cannot blame him. I think we all would have been the same, saying, why are you doing this? Yeah. Okay. So I want everyone to get this. Like I said, this ayah, according to many Mufassirin, and like I said, Allah knows best. But using the Arabic language and the wording of the ayah, it sounds like Musa alayhi salam was the one who's telling al-Khidr, this is not working. And if I'm going to ask you again, then let's go our separate ways. This is a waste of time. Now, what did al-Khidr say to him? I mean, by the way, put yourself in his place. I am trying to teach you, and you're telling me this is not working, and I'm going to go my separate way, and then this and that. Why am I even wasting my time with you? Now, we learn an important, by the way, Al-Khidr in this whole thing, this whole story with the 3 trips is a great example for a teacher, a successful teacher. He didn't say anything. He saw Musa alayhi salam getting angry because he does not know why he's doing this. And he, in the wording, he said, do not accompany me, la tusahibni. And this implies that he is the leader. He didn't say, don't let me accompany you. Do not accompany me, which means it's like you should be honored that you are in my presence. And this is true, because Musa alayhi salam is a prophet, and he's one of the 5 best prophets. As we said, Al-Khidr, according to most scholars, is not even a prophet. So the one who's really getting the honor of this trip is Khidr, more than Musa alayhi salam. But Musa alayhi salam agreed in the beginning to humble himself in front of Al-Khidr, and we said this is important. For you to learn anything from a teacher, you have to humble yourself before that teacher, even if your actual rank was higher. But now here Musa alayhi salam is getting angry. You're doing these things, I don't understand why, and they're evil, and I cannot imagine how can this be a good thing. So what was Al-Khidr as a teacher? What was his response to this? Nothing. He didn't say anything. They just continued. They just continued the trip. Now, what is the importance? When you see the student getting a little upset, give them some room. If the student gets upset and the teacher gets upset, then we have a battle of Badr.
Fire.
By the way, many teachers do not have that patience. That the student, give the student some room. I remember I was teaching math. Imagine I taught math before.
Wow.
And you know me, my style, every 10 minutes I ask, is there any question? I always do that. I always like to do that. And I kept doing that. Every 10 minutes, is there any question? Is there any question? The whole class finished, 45 minutes. And I explained the lesson and everything. And then one student gets up and he said, I did not understand anything you said. Imagine. After 45 minutes, I said a million times, is there any question? You did not say anything. Now you're telling me? So I was about to get angry. And then I said to myself, just calm down. And I asked him, what can you tell me exactly what you have a problem with understanding? He said the whole thing. So yeah, some students are like that. So a teacher should be patient. If you pay attention, Al-Khidr did not get angry with Musa. Maybe the second time, أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكَ, did I not say to you, I was talking to you, shows a little anger, but not really more than that. And when Musa alayhi salam was saying, do not accompany me, and I'm not giving you more excuses, Khidr did not answer him. He did not say anything. They just continued their trip. فانطلقا, so they continued. Now this is the 3rd trip. حتى إذا أتيا أهل قرية استطعما أهلها, until they arrived at a village and they asked the people, the inhabitants, for food. Now here there is another important thing. When there is someone asking for help, a lot of times people come to the masjid and they ask for help, they ask for money. If somebody is asking for money, you can doubt their intention. What are they going to do with the money? But if somebody is asking for food, you cannot doubt their intention. What are you going to do with them with the food? That means you're hungry. That means you're really needy. When people ask for money, you don't know what they're going to do with the money. You can say maybe they are needy, maybe they're not needy, because I know some of them. I remember one lady came a few years ago. She asked for money. The masjid helped her. And then she left the masjid, and I, for some reason, I don't know why, felt like following her. And then she was looking around. It was dark. She didn't see me. And some expensive car came and picked her up. She was going rounds around the masjid. Some people do that. They go rounds around the masjid, and they make a lot of money this way. So, yeah, subhanallah. So when people ask for money, they can be honest. They are needy, and they can be not honest. But when somebody asks for food, that means they're hungry. What are they going to do with the food?
Right.
Resell it. That would be really hard to resell it. That means they're hungry. So Musa and al-Khidr, after the 3 trips or the 2 trips and the third one, they have not eaten anything. They're hungry. They're tired. They're travelers. There is, by the way, a ruling in Islam, and even for the Jews, the same ruling they have in their religion. Musa alayhi salam knew that if there is a traveler who arrives in any city or village, and that traveler does not have any family or any place to stay, then it becomes fard kifaya. It's fard on the people of the village to host that guest or that traveler for 3 days. If nobody does it, the whole village gets a sin. If one person does it, nobody gets a sin. This is the meaning of fard kifaya. So 3 days, if you want to host that traveler more than 3 days, it's up to you. You get reward for that. But 3 days are mandatory. That's in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. That when there is a traveler that arrives in any village or city, he does not have family or a place to stay, and he comes to the villagers and say, this is my situation, somebody has to give them a place to stay for 3 days, or the whole village gets a sin. So,
is that where they came out with the ayat al-Dayf Tlatiya?
No, this is culture. This is culture. But I think that's where they got the 3 days from. But the 3 days is mandatory. And then after that, because 3 days gives him the chance to find a place to stay or to continue his journey if it was temporary. But I mean, more than 3 days, he's not going to live with you. Obviously. Oh, hopefully. So, فانطلقا حتى إذا أتيا أهل قرية استطعما أهلها. They asked for food. استطعما, they asked for food. فابوا أن يضيفوهما. Allah did not say they did not give them food. They refused to host them. Why? Allah wants us to know that those people were terrible. Why? You can come to my house and say, I have no shelter, I have no place to stay. Can you give me some food? I'll say, I'm not giving you any food, but I can give you a place to stay. Food is your problem. But Allah is saying, فَأَبَوْا أَن يُضَيِّفُوهُمَا. They did not even let them in. Forget about the food. You cannot even come inside the house. This is how bad those people were. They asked for food. They didn't even want to talk to them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, the wording of the Quran is very beautiful because every word is there for a reason. Allah did not say they asked for food and they did not give them food. They asked for food, which indicates that they are really needy. They didn't ask for money, they asked for food. And obviously they needed a place to stay. But those villagers did not even want to let them in. Basically everyone closed the door, leave us alone.
All will get the sin?
Everyone will get the sin, yes. فوجد فيها جدارا يريد أن ينقض فأقامه. Then they found a house. Jidar is a wall, but it can be used for a small house. That is about to collapse. And Allah uses the word yuridu. It wants to collapse. Now, normally, we don't use the word want for a wall, inanimate objects. An item, an object, we don't say the object wants to do something, right? It's like the cup wants to drop.
Choice.
Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to know that even the wall, the house, which is an inanimate object, if it had a free will and Allah did not will for it to happen, it will not happen. The house wanted to collapse and Allah did not want the house to collapse, so the house did not collapse. In other words, nothing happens without Allah's permission. Even the objects which do not have a will of their own, and they cannot say, I want to do something, if they can say, I want to do something, it cannot happen without the will of Allah. The house wanted to collapse, but Allah did not want it to collapse. So it did not collapse. So that's why Allah uses the word yuridu. It wanted to collapse. فَأَقَامَ al-Khidr strengthened the walls, rebuilt the areas, made sure it does not collapse. Now, of course, Musa alayhi salam again is not going to be quiet here. You are doing work for those villagers. This house is about to collapse, and you rebuilt it for them, and they did not even give us food.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't be quiet again. And he said, لو شئت لاتخذت عليه أجرا. If you wanted, you could have asked for a reward for this. We're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Now here, Al-Khidr says, قال هذا فراق بيني وبينك.
This is it.
This is the separation between you and I, or me and you, and I and you, me and you. First of all, why did he not say this is the separation between us? بيننا. Normally you will say separation between us, not between you and I. Why did he not say this is a separation between us? He said between you and I. هذا فراق بيني وبينك. That means when you say بيننا, it means two close friends.
Oh.
And normally it's used for husband and wife. You say فراق بيننا when, God forbid, the divorce happened, because the two were almost one, and then they separated. Here Al-Khidr is beautifully saying, you and I have different ranks. We're not the same. You are a prophet, I am not. You have a higher rank than me, which means I agree when you said, لا تصاحبني, do not accompany me. That's why he did not get angry with him.
Mm-hmm.
You see how the point is, Musa alayhi salam humbled himself in the beginning, and he said, I will be your follower, just teach me. When Musa alayhi salam got upset, he said, do not accompany me anymore. He went back to his rank. I am a prophet, and you're not. And here, the statement of Al-Khidr is to emphasize that you're right. You and I are not the same. And that's why I did not say this is not the separation between us, which indicates we both are on the same level. You say that baynana when both of them are on the same level. But bayni wa baynik, between you and I, which means we both are not on the same level. You are a prophet, and I am not a prophet. That's why he used that to emphasize the difference in rank.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he did not get upset again when he said, do not accompany me, even though he's the student. So he said, this is the separation, and this is according to your request. You said that. If I ask you a third time, then do not accompany me. So Khidr did not make that rule. The one who made that rule was Musa. If I ask you a third time, this is not working. We're wasting our time. So he said, then let's all go our separate ways. And Musa agreed. And there is an important thing here. It's mentioned in the hadith that when Al-Khidr was about to leave after he explained to Musa why he did what he did, he asked Musa, he said, advise me. You are the messenger of God, give me nasiha. Which means when they got separated, they did not end in a fight. They did not end this relationship in a fight because we got separated. And you see, and I can give this example, husband and wife, almost every divorce ends with court, fights, animosity between the families. They become enemies forever. Have you ever seen a divorce goes nicely and friendly? It did not work out. It can happen in any family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made divorce halal as a way out when the relationship does not work. And it can happen anytime. Husband and wife, we do not get along. Fine, let's go our separate ways, like Musa and Al-Khidr. We do not accept that he did not say baynina, because Khidr actually said, you are higher rank than me, and I do admit to that. I know that. I acknowledge that. You are a messenger of Allah. We're one of the best, greatest messengers, ulul azm, as we said. And I am not a messenger. We're going to go our separate ways, but we're going to stay friends. We're not going to hate each other because this did not work out. See, maybe al-Khidr had more trips, more journeys to show Musa alayhi salam. But Musa said, I'm not going to accompany you, or do not accompany me anymore. Khidr, fine. We don't have to end this relationship with a fight. We can still be friends. Give me advice before you go. You are the messenger of God. This is a very important lesson. I gave an example, husband and wife, but any relationship, when it comes to an end, it does not have to become a war or animosity, or people start backbiting about each other and cursing at each other, and two families become enemies forever and ever.
Quick question, Sheikh.
Yes, Brother Umar.
Maybe, do you know how much time they spent together? Because, you know, maybe time is a factor. If they didn't spend a long time together in those trips, maybe it's easier to separate, compare maybe to a husband and wife who, you know, maybe spend years together. I think that's, you know,
No,
kind
well,
of plays a factor.
first of all, it's not mentioned really how much. If I'm not mistaken, a few months. Number two, let's assume that your point is right, husband and wife, because they spend a long time. I have seen a divorce between husband and wife after 3 months of marriage. 3 months. And it still happened the same way. They got mad at each other. Sometimes divorced before they get married even. And they they start cursing at each other. I have not seen a peaceful divorce in my life. I don't think it's the time factor is really, and I think it's a big mistake when husband and wife are married and things are not going well. This is an important message. When Musa alayhi salam noticed that this is not working, he told al-Khidr, let's go our separate ways. When husband and wife notice this is not working, I'm saying in the first few months, let's go, why waste our time? You keep trying, and then after 10 years, you realize this is not working, and then it's way more complicated to end it now. After 10 years, now you figured out you don't match. It took you 10 years.
Yeah.
So this
But
is
sometimes
important.
when you have children, it's harder.
Of course, that time will make it more complicated. That will add more stuff to it. But if as soon as you realize, see, this is what Musa alayhi salam did. This is not working. Doesn't matter how many trips we go together, I'm going to ask you every time. You told me not to ask you, but I cannot not ask you. It's impossible. So let's end it early, and everybody goes their own separate ways, and we'll be still friends.